for no good reason other than just the sheer hell of testing it out. Got a new tripod for my camera, and so I thought I would do a little demo video on breaking down, just doing a quick field strip and reassembly of my personal carry weapon, which is the Beretta Nano. Now, all the safety Nazis out there, this weapon has been cleared, safety checked, and we are going to break it down and put it back together again. First off, I'll remove the clip, then turn to battery. Excuse me for 1 second. Forgot to grab something to decock the mechanism with the handy decock pin, such. So, alright, gun has been decocked instead of having to pull the trigger. Now, important tool here is the penny. Put that in the slot here to turn the cam 1/4 turn. Ding, comes forward. Give it a pop, and there we have, you can see the full steel sub-chassis, which, as I do more research on guns, I'm starting to appreciate this feature on the Nano more and more, as opposed to the Glock or my wife's PX4, which just has, plastic frames with metal inserts here and here. Something about the all-metal construction just appeals to me. So here is the mechanism. This is the cam-actuated striker-fired mechanism. Alright, this is very much like a Glock from what I understand. This spring comes apart. Here it's captive, all in one piece. And then the barrel comes out. And this gun has been fired maybe 150 rounds or so. Get a look at some of the, let's see how close we can get for detail here. Little bit of peening on the nose or on the front of the hood there, the lock-up area. Standard mono wear. So my camera does not do continuous autofocus. This has just a standard floating locking lug. Again, kind of like a Glock, but the Glock is less curves, just more straightforward cut angles. And here we have the slide. Not going to do a detail strip of this because apparently getting this job apart here requires applying quite a bit of pressure there to press in the extractor spring. Then this comes apart like a Glock, and then this all wants to come flying apart. Oh, and you have to also push up the striker safety mechanism there, so that you can push this forward, so that you can get it clear of the back plate. Yeah, that spring seems to kind of want to curve a little bit. Some people are trying to get aftermarket springs and guide rods for the striker. I'm not that micro again. I don't really have the desire to pop this thing apart, but this is the machine taken apart, and to put it back together, just pop it in there. There is, on the Nano, a little, right there on the front of the spring is a washer, and you need to make sure that washer is centered. I've not had this thing pop out of line yet. I think you'd have to really do some extra effort to relieve the tension to get this thing to fall off center, but if it does come off center, you want to center it back up again, because when it rides in the slide, that is what, hold still, you'll see. Pop it back in there, and yes, right now this is bent. This has the polymer guide rod. There have been some people working on making a aftermarket stainless steel guide rod, because one guy had this piece here is metal and this is plastic, and it inserts in here, and one guy had his split. The guide rod and spring assembly still function correctly, but when you take it apart, all one will come flying apart. So that's not supposed to be like that. But get this hold still. I gotta sneeze. It's fighting that. Let's see. Get some. Now, again, one of the things that I really appreciate about this mechanism. See, anyways, I was gonna say this looks like it's bent here, and this looks like it's in a pretty crappy position. But what happens? First, the gun is going to kind of hold it all together. Actually, the spring doesn't really touch anything. But what happens is that this part of the spring is going to press up against this here. And what's going to happen, and this is something I really love, see it already starting to move in there. As soon as the spring pushes up against there, snap, goes right back in there. Now what's happening is that the back end of that guide rod is pressing up against the flat spot here. I'll show you. Again, decock, penny. When this is vertical, the guide rod is pressing right up. It's sitting inside this channel here. It's pressing up against there, so everything is kept in place very, very securely. It's not flexing and bending against, it's pushing flush against a perpendicular surface there. So the takedown cam is riding inside the metal chassis, and so it's all metal on metal contact throughout that's holding it all together. It's not metal on plastic causing any kind of stress points, which I don't think any gun's really proven to fail for that reason, but I feel better having it all be metal on metal. Come here, you. I'm trying to do two things at once. Three things, technically. Alright, hold you. Snap you in place so you're secure. Again, put it on the rails. All metal rails. Still like that very much. And as if by magic. Nah, but still, just I appreciate the convenience of not having to manually rotate this back into position. Although, it does want to be kind of started just a little bit in the right angle. Alright, now what are you doing to me? See, now it's trying to embarrass me here. We are in real time, live. There you go. I was trying to do it a little too slow. So, put the magazine back in, and the only way to lock the slide open, since there is no slide catch on the Nano, that's the slide catch there, is to have the magazine in there to press it into place, and this slide catch is actually spring loaded, so once tension is released, it drops back down again. And that is how you field strip and reassemble a Beretta Nano.